Welcome to Cinema Bites, your go-to for movie recaps in a flash. Big twists, epic moments, all in just minutes. The movie begins on an alien planet where the alien leader holds a council meeting, informing everyone that they have apprehended a very dangerous threat. A genius scientist called Jumba Juka was tasked by the alien leader to safely study biological threats. But he ended up creating an experiment which he addresses as 626. The aliens see 626 as a threat because he is very powerful, indestructible, and he is 100% smart. Since 626 did not ask to be created, the alien leader doesn't want to pass judgment on it yet. She asks 626 to show them if there is something good inside him. But what 626 displays really scares the aliens. So the alien leader decides to pass judgment. She decides to destroy Dr. Jumba's lab for creating such a monstrosity, and 626 will be exiled. Unfortunately, 626 escapes from their cage and boards their fastest spaceship as he flies out of their planet. The alien leader mobilizes all her forces to catch him, but they stop as soon as he enters Earth. Dr. Jumba persuades the alien leader that he can catch 626 because he was the one who created it, only if they release him and give him back his lab. But the alien leader knows a much easier way, which is by simply vaporizing the planet. An alien called Pleakley, normally addressed as the Earth expert, stops her from this action. He explains to her how Earth is unbelievably rich, so it would be a bad idea for her to destroy the planet. With no other choice, the alien leader decides to send Dr. Jumba to Earth to capture experiment 626 and sends Pleakley with him so that he will ensure that Dr. Jumba follows the Federation rules. She leaves, warning them they should not let the humans see them during their mission, or she will be forced to intervene. The scene changes to Earth at the Hawaiian island of Kauai. We are introduced to a young girl called Lilo. We see her inside the ocean giving some fish her breakfast and freeing some chickens from their cage as she cares so much about animals. She notices she is late for her dance presentation, and she hurries there. We find out that she is normally bullied and hated by the other kids because she comes from a really poor family, and this really hurts her so much. Just as her dance presentation begins, we are introduced to Lilo's elder sister, Nani. Things aren't easy for her, as she does so many jobs at once to take care of her younger sister. She rushes inside her car to attend Lilo's presentation, but the car refuses to start. Lilo is so upset when she notices that Nani hasn't shown up for her dance presentation, and she suddenly gets pushed to the floor by a bully. Out of anger that Nani didn't show up, she retaliates by pushing the bully off the stage. Nani finally arrives, but the dance has been over about an hour ago. She rushes back home, but an angry Lilo refuses to let her inside the house. A social worker shows up at their house to confirm if Nani can sufficiently take care of Lilo since their parents' dismissal. Nani takes her through the back door since Lilo locked the front door. She notices that Nani rarely spends time with Lilo because of work, and poverty has made them eat only once a day. Even the tea Nani served the social worker tastes really horrible. It hasn't been long since Lilo and Nani's parents passed away from a car accident. The social worker is here to ensure that Nani has what it takes to take care of Lilo, but it seems to her that Nani isn't doing well in that. The social worker really likes Nani because she is really struggling too hard, so she decides to give her another chance. They have a new director coming to town next week, and she would like to tell him how Nani has been taking good care of Lilo. She gives Nani 3 days to find a good job that can provide all their needs, or she will take Lilo from her care and set her with a foster family for Nani's own good. Just after the social worker left, Nani furiously chases after Lilo. She tells Lilo that the social worker will split them up if they don't pull it together. Lilo and Nani reconcile later that evening, and just as they discuss what Lilo did to the bully at the dance presentation, Lilo notices a shooting star. So she pushes a dizzy Nani out of her bedroom to make a wish. Lilo wishes for a real friend, someone who won't tease her, someone who won't run away, and a best friend who will always be there for her. After Nani hears Lilo wish to have a friend, she decides to let her get a dog. What appears to be a shooting star is just a spaceship that crash-landed on Earth. Experiment 626 comes out from it. He notices a collar on his neck which Dr. Jumba and Pleakley are using to track his whereabouts. 626, desperate to remove the discomfort from his neck, uses some electric wires to remove it. He then sees a cake at a wedding party and goes to have some. Everyone at the party gets so scared of him, and this leads to chaos as they try to chase him out with different objects. Just as 626 manages to take the cake and begin to devour it, he gets hit by a really large bus. Meanwhile, Dr. Jumba and Pleakley finally arrive on Earth to find 626. To prevent the humans from seeing them, Pleakley uses a disguising technology that allows them to clone the appearance of any human they touch. appearing just like a human, allows them to move freely without anyone suspecting that they are aliens. They see a news report where they find out that 626 got hit by a tour bus and is recovering in the hands of the animal rescue team. 626 wakes up from unconsciousness and finds himself in a cage. He sees dogs already locked in their cage and tries to communicate with them, but to no avail. He then frees himself from the cage and goes outside. At the animal rescue, Lilo goes to adopt a new pet. She donates all her candies to all the animals locked in a cage, but the worker in the animal rescue refuses because it makes the animals have diarrhea. Just as 626 devours a cake outside, he gets attacked by Lilo and Dr. Jumba in their disguised human forms. 626 runs back inside the animal rescue building, where he sees Lilo looking for a dog to choose as a pet. 626 displayed real smartness here, as he notices on the wall how little children love pets, and seeing Lilo as a child, he decided to turn himself into a cute pet. So, he will be adopted by Lilo. Lilo sees him and is so amazed, as she has never seen anything like him in her life. So, she decided to take him in as a pet, giving him a name called Stitch. Nani is against Lilo taking Stitch as a pet because he is not a dog. She hurries for work and decided to leave Stitch in her responsibility since it makes her happy. Some FBI agent sees a crashed spaceship in a nearby bush. They make some research and discover the image of the alien to be Stitch. Meanwhile, Lilo and Stitch are having so much fun together. They play at the beach and do a lot of exciting things together. Stitch is really hard for her to control, but he stands up to a bully for her. He pushes the bully off her tricycle for being mean and steals it, taking Lilo for a ride. Just as Nani drives them, Stitch comes across those aliens, Play and Jumba, who are bent on capturing him. They placed a tracker on Nani's car. As they drive away, just as Lilo and Stitch eat dinner where Nani works, Lilo sees a fire presentation and decides to give it a try, but ends up setting Nani's workplace on fire. Because of this, Nani gets sacked by her boss, and she goes back home so depressed. She gets into an argument with Lilo, as she wants to take Stitch back to the animal rescue. Because ever since Stitch came into her life, things have been so much worse for them. Stitch destroys anything he comes across in the house, until Lilo begs him to be good at least 1 second. She tells Stitch about her sister Nani, who used to be fun and amazing, but everything ended when they lost their parents. She asks Stitch if he has a family. When Stitch says he has no family, Lilo believes it to be the reason he acts bad sometimes. Lilo teaches Stitch the hula dance. She feels so glad to find someone she can do things with and kisses Stitch on the nose. The next morning, Nani takes Lilo and Stitch to a new restaurant to apply for a job there and appeals to them to be at their best behavior while she does so. Lilo then teaches Stitch how to be well-mannered, how not to break any stuff he comes across, and also how to help people. But Stitch doesn't learn, and this keeps ruining every chance of Nani finding work. Nani's friend David invites Nani and Lilo to take a break and enjoy a day surfing. Just as Nani, Lilo, and Stitch ride on a huge wave, those aliens disguised in human form, Jumba and Lilo, make another attempt to capture Stitch, knowing his biggest weakness is his inability to float in water. They attack Stitch, and this causes Nani, Lilo, and Stitch to fall inside the ocean. Stitch stays on Lilo's head as he doesn't know how to swim, and this leads to Lilo getting drowned. David dives inside the ocean and rescues the unconscious Lilo, and he and Nani are able to revive her. They rush Lilo to the hospital, but Nani isn't able to afford her hospital bills. The social worker shows up and tells Nani that there is a way the state can pay for all the bills, but it means that Nani will have to officially relinquish guardianship of Lilo. The next day, the alien leader is so angry with Jumba and Peel for their failure to capture Stitch. So she decides to cancel their agreement and decides to send her military instead to do the job. This gives Jumba the opportunity to pursue Stitch by using less covert methods, much to Peel's dismay. Meanwhile, after so much thinking, realizing it's best if Lilo goes somewhere she can be well taken care of, Nani decides to hand over Lilo to the social worker. Just as she goes inside Lilo's room to call her out to be taken away, she doesn't find her inside. We see Lilo inside the woods looking for Stitch. She finds Stitch at the animal rescue where he locked himself in a cage. Stitch calls himself bad, blaming himself as the reason Nani and Lilo are separating from each other. Lilo assures him that he is not bad. She calls him her family and hugs him. Jumba suddenly shows up out of a portal to capture Stitch, but he fails as Stitch outsmarts him. Lilo and Stitch run back to the house, but they don't find Nani there. As for Nani, she's in the woods with David searching for Lilo. Lilo hears a knock on the door, but Stitch drags her to hide as he knows it's Jumba looking for him. Jumba enters their house in his true alien form. Jumba finds where they're hiding, and this leads to chaos as Jumba starts to destroy everything in the house. Lilo gets angry and confronts Jumba out of anger for destroying her dead parents' photos in the house. Jumba tries to hurt her, but he gets attacked by Stitch. Jumba tells Lilo that the only reason Stitch chose to stay with her was for his own protection, and Lilo is so heartbroken hearing this. Jumba tells Stitch that if he cares about Lilo, he should willingly hand himself over. Lilo decides to hand himself over and follows Jumba inside the portal. He sees the house collapse on Lilo, but he couldn't do anything. Jumba takes Stitch inside his spaceship and decides to upgrade Stitch into a very dangerous weapon called 627 and also remove his ability to love. He wants to use Stitch as his weapon to challenge the alien council. Unknown to Jumba, Lilo also appears to be on that ship. Nani and David go to search for Lilo inside the collapsed house. There they meet Play and are terrified by him because he's an alien. An FBI agent called Cobra, disguised as a neighbor, shows up to arrest the alien for interrogation. Nani begs Cobra to help her save her sister, and he gives in. Lilo presses random buttons on the ship, and this leads to it malfunctioning, throwing Jumba out of the ship. She sets Lilo free, but they are in bigger trouble as the control wheels of the ship are damaged. The ship crashes into the ocean with Lilo trapped beneath it. Stitch at the moment didn't care about his weakness of not being able to swim and dives into the ocean to remove the heavy object, preventing Lilo from reaching the surface. Lilo goes back into the ocean to try and rescue Stitch, but he was too heavy for her to bring to the surface. Stitch accepts his fate as he pulls out her hand and falls to his death. Nani and David arrive to take Lilo out of the ocean. Nani suddenly changes her mind and goes to save Stitch on her crying sister's behalf. They try to revive Stitch, but he doesn't wake up. Just as Lilo cries really hard, saying they were supposed to grow up together, Stitch wakes up and she becomes so excited. The alien leader suddenly shows up with her army, saying she is here to retrieve their dangerous experiment, Stitch. But upon realizing how the humans love Stitch and how they consider him as family, the alien leader decides to leave him in Lilo's care. And that was how the movie ended. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and hit the notification bell to get more new videos.